Hello to you and welcome to A Life Well Lived, a physician's guide to wealth, the podcast where we help you take control of your money so you can live your life with purpose. Every single week, physician families like you lose something they can never get back. It's not money, it's time. And right now, while you're reading charts at 10 p.m., while you're answering one more My Chart message, while you're telling your kids just 5 more minutes, your money is doing one of two things. It's either quietly building the life you actually want, or it's leaking. Here's the thing. Most of you, and I mean this with the deepest respect, you're pulling in $600,000, $800,000, $1 million a year combined, and you still have this nagging feeling in the back of your mind that something is falling through the cracks. Cash is piling up in checking, student loans are still sitting there, you meant to open that backdoor Roth, you meant to look at the 1099 side income, you meant to talk to your spouse about the plan, and you never quite did, right? And here's what I've seen over and over working with physician families. The smartest people in medicine are often the most stuck financially. Not because you're not capable, because you're exhausted. Because decision fatigue is real. Because the industry is vague and full of salespeople and advisor clothing. And because nobody ever taught you that wealth, like medicine, requires a diagnosis before a treatment plan. So here's my promise to you over the next 15 minutes. And throughout this series, I'm going to show you the exact first step of our 120-day protocol, what we call getting it together forever financially. And it's going to bypass the decision fatigue that's been holding you back. You will not need to add a single hour to your clinical workload. You will not need to become a financial expert or guru. What you will need to do is something you already do every single day in your practice: diagnose before you treat. So let's talk about the problem first, because you have to see it clearly before we can solve it. Here's the problem. Most physician families treat their money like a hobby or total neglect, a weekend project, something they'll get to when life slows down. And life, as you well know, does not slow down. The money hits the bank account, the money goes out of the bank account, repeat cycle. So what happens? Cash sits, debt lingers, one spouse quietly resents the other for not engaging, or when yet another Amazon package shows up at the front door, or both spouses avoid the topic entirely because every conversation about money turns into a fight about priorities, about time, about who's supposed to be handling this, right? And I too have been there. I know exactly what this feels like. And here's the invisible cost. Every year that passes without a system is a year where compounding is working against you instead of for you. Every year without a plan is a year where your highest earning decade quietly slips by and you can't get it back. That's the pain. And if you felt any of that, even a whisper of it, I want you to know you're not alone and you're not broken. Your system is broken. And more accurately, you don't have one yet. So let's talk about the solution. In medicine, you would never treat a symptom without a diagnosis. You wouldn't hand a patient a medication without knowing what you're actually treating, why it matters, and what success looks like. And yet, when it comes to money, that's exactly what most physicians do. They jump straight to the cash flow spreadsheet. They jump straight to the budget app. They jump straight to the, should I do a backdoor Roth or pay down a mortgage or buy this whole life insurance or do this brokerage account or buy SpaceX? And they skip the diagnosis entirely. And they end up with a scattered mess in a variety of different places. Here is the diagnosis. It's called the impact primer. 6 letters, 6 questions, and this is the thing that has to come before anything else. Before the cash flow, before the tax strategy, before the investment allocation, because without this, none of the tactics will stick. So let me walk you through it. Action item for you: get out a pen and paper right now, or your notes app, or if you're driving, file this in your head and come back to it with your spouse or partner this evening. I'll wait. No, seriously, I'm actually waiting. Okay, let's jump in. Letter 1. I. Imagine. I want you to picture the setting of your dream house. Not the countertops, not the handles on the cabinets, the setting. Is it mountains? Is it water? Is it a quiet street where your kids can ride bikes without you flinching? Is it somewhere tucked in the woods near nobody? Sounds kind of nice. Now, age yourself. You're 80 years old. Sorry, we had to jump in a time machine. I came with you. We're old and gray together. You're sitting on the back porch of that dream house with the love of your life. The kids are off somewhere in the distance. The sun is on your skin. Your partner's there, like I said. Maybe your kids and grandkids are somewhere nearby. And you smile because you look at the life you built and you think, what a glorious life we've created. Can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you smell the air? From that vantage point, I want you to answer one question. We were successful because of what? Write down 5 things, maybe 10 things. And here's the rule: none of them have to be financial. Maybe it's we raise kids who are kind and independent. Maybe it's we stayed married and still liked each other and went out on weekly date nights. Maybe it's I stopped taking call at age 45. Maybe it's we funded that mission trip every single year. Maybe it's we traveled the world together. Whatever comes up, write it down because that is your why. Letter 2, M, meaning. Why are you here right now listening to this? There's over 1 million physicians in the world or in America, and I know not all of them are here. There's a zillion other places you could be right now. There's probably a lot of shows on Netflix that are more entertaining than me, a zillion other podcasts, a zillion other things competing for your attention, but you're here with me right now. Take that in for a second. So, what is the outcome that you're hoping to create by taking control of your money? What does figured it out look like in your life? What does a life well lived mean for you and your family? And write that down too. Letter 3, P, for purpose. And this is the one that cuts deep, so stay with me. Who are you without the label of physician? Who are you without the income? My business partner, Jeff, and I both played college football, and we talk all the time about the guys we play with who lost that identity literally overnight after the last game. One day you're a football player, the next day you're not. And you have to answer the question, who am I now? Medicine will end for you someday. And I want you to have an answer before that day arrives. What do you want your life story to be about? What brings you joy? And are you doing enough of it? And listen, I'm talking to myself here too. I have someone very close to me in my family going through a serious health issue right now. It's my dad. I've voiced in other podcasts that he has ALS. And honestly, what it has done for our entire family is force us back into the present moment. I thought I was intentional. I thought I was present. And this brought me back down to earth and showed me I had drifted. I was living in the future and missing the now and going all in on business and not focusing on other people and other areas of my life. And here's why I'm telling you this. Money is not about money. Money is about time. Money is about presence. Money is about freedom. Money is about peace. Money is about being able to say yes to the moments that matter and no to the ones that don't. That is the diagnosis, and that is why we start here before we ever touch a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is empty and unfulfilled. I can't tell you the number of families who have read The White Coat Investor. There's so much good strategy in that book, so I'm not here to beat it up, but they come to us and they're totally unfulfilled. Typically, one spouse resents the other because they say we have to save, 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 and we can't live our lives, right? So this is the diagnosis, and this is the why. You must have a deeper why underneath. What is the purpose of your money, and how can you use it to fuel your life? Letter 4, A, abundance. Who else do you want to positively impact beyond you? Beyond your household, your spouse, your kids, a cause, a mission, a community? Because when your wealth has a bigger mission than you will not drift. Letter 5 is C, for contribution. What will you be able to do for others because you decided to take control of your money? And remember, it's not just dollars, it's time. It's the ability to reduce clinical hours and do the mission work overseas you always talked about. It's the ability to reduce clinical hours and spend more time with your friends and family or the joys of your life and your hobbies. It's the ability to be at home on a Tuesday afternoon when your teenager finally wants to talk. And letter 6, T, for time. Declare your time commitment up front. This journey, the 120 days, is going to require real time from you and your spouse. Not huge amounts, but consistent amounts. And here's the line I want you to write down and put on a sticky note on your bathroom mirror. Commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has left you. Listen to that again and make sure you write that down. You're going to want to write that down and remember that. Commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has left you. And this is the part where most people fall away because the mood will leave you. Spring will turn summer. Summer will turn to fall. Fall will turn winter. And who wants to do anything with their money in the winter when you can watch Netflix by a fireplace, right? A patient crisis will hit. A family emergency will hit. And the plan you started with so much energy in July or January will quietly get shoved under the rug by the next month. Unless you have a system stronger than the mood. And that system starts with a signed pledge. So here's what I want you to do. Once you've worked through your impact primer, IMPACT, with your spouse, not alone, with your spouse, I want you to sign and date a commitment pledge. And this is not woo-woo stuff. Think about it. Every artist signs their work. Steve Jobs and the original Apple team signed the inside of the very first Macintosh, even though no customer would ever see it. Why? Because a signature means this is mine. I stand behind it and I own it. And when you and your spouse sit down together and you sign that pledge, something shifts. The financial friction between you starts to dissolve because now you are not two exhausted physicians fighting about money or two exhausted humans fighting about money. You are two partners aligned on the same vision. And that is the moment everything changes. So let me paint the picture of what becomes possible. 6 months from now, after this 120-day protocol of getting your financial life together, here's what your life can look like. You open your phone, you see one dashboard. Cash flow is automated, student loans on a defined runway, tax strategy coordinated, investments allocated to a plan that's in alignment with your goals and your values. All of your financial vital signs are clear in one space. You know what they are, and you know if they are strong or hazardous and need attention. Your plan is allocated and aligned with the answers you wrote down about your 80-year-old self on that back porch. You and your spouse no longer argue about money. Well, maybe sometimes it's just about impossible to never. You have at least a quarterly conversation. It takes 45 minutes, and then you go live your life. You stop feeling guilty about the cash sitting in your checking because it now has a job. You stop feeling anxious about what you're missing because someone who actually understands physician money is watching it for you. And you stop feeling like an imposter in your own financial life. You stop feeling behind all of your friends that didn't have 10 years of med school and training. That's what's on the other side of the diagnosis. That's what's on the other side of the impact primer. That's what's on the other side of one signed pledge and one decision to draw a line in the sand and to finally take control of your money. So let's recap. Here's where you started. You walked into this feeling like your money was something you should have figured out by now, and you hadn't, and it was quietly costing you. You were probably thinking, I should know how to do this. Here's what you now know. Medicine is your craft. Wealth is your legacy, and you don't treat a legacy without diagnosing it first. Here's what becomes possible. A life where your money funds the 80-year-old you already saw on that porch, where your marriage is stronger because the financial friction is gone, where your kids inherit not just wealth, but wisdom. So here's your one action, not 10, one. Before the end of this week, sit down with your spouse for 15 minutes, one coffee, one conversation, and walk through the impact primer together. IMPACT. Write the answers down, sign and date the bottom of the page. That's it. No spreadsheet, no app, no advisor, just you and your partner and a piece of paper. Because here's the truth that I want to leave you with. Most physician families will hear this and nod and move on to the next thing. And next spring, nothing will have changed. But you are not most physicians. You're here for a reason. You're listening to this instead of 1,000 other things for a reason. And the reason is that some part of you already knows that it's time. Don't be the richest one in the graveyard. Do the diagnosis, sign the pledge, and let's get it together forever. This is A Life Well Lived, and I'll see you in the next episode.